You need insight. In the world of credit risk management, insight starts with payment data. The key to anticipating how your customers will pay you is knowing how they pay their critical suppliers and other creditors. Connecting you with that data and that insight is what the D&B Global Trade Program was built to do. When you securely and confidentially share your data with D&B, you become part of an unparalleled network with access to payment insight from across your industry and around the world. The result? You're able to make the confident decisions needed to manage cash flow, control risk, and grow. And that's what it's all about. Become a strategic partner of the D&B Global Trade Program. Get insight, gain confidence. Learn more about the program, what it can do for you, and how to join today at dnbglobaltrade.com.
Hello, can everybody hear me? Hello? Yeah? No. Can you hear me? Doesn't seem like it's on. Hello? Yeah? Yeah? Can you hear me? Oh, yeah, I can't hear. Sorry. My name is Andres Benvenuto. I'm with D&B International, located in Short Hills, New Jersey, where it's the global headquarters for Dun & Bradstreet. So this video was created about a year ago. So the first view of the video, you may not understand it. So hopefully after my presentation, you will understand it in more depth. So that's my goal for you today, is to review the video after the presentation, and it'll make more sense. So it's a pleasure being in Istanbul, and thank you for D&B Turkey and all of you to join the event today. This is exciting times for D&B Turkey and also D&B Global as we move into a new era of information in Turkey. So this is my first time in Istanbul. I arrived here Saturday afternoon, about 5, 6 o'clock, and it's been an amazing few days. The city is amazing, but the most fascinating part of Istanbul is the people. You know, the people are extremely friendly, hospitable, just really a delight to meet many of the folks on the street here as well at D&B Turkey and our customers. So. The one thing I learned very quickly was the passion behind football, right? So this is probably the best time ever to be in Istanbul and really experience, the passion around football. So I decided to have one quick poll, a survey. Salim had, the business optimism survey. So I want to do my own survey. And want to understand, which team you root for here in Istanbul. So, let's go with the first. I'm very bad at Turkish. My pronunciation is very bad. So I'm going to say Fenerbahce. You got to help me with this one. Fenerbahce. So who is the supporter of this team? Okay, good. All right. So maybe a third, maybe 30%. How about the second team, BJK? Okay. Maybe a little less, 20%. Okay. And the final one, SG. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Very good. I like that. So, Salim, maybe you can analyze the the survey. We'll come out with a survey later. But so it looks like SJM was the winner, I think, in this group. So. So what I want to do is say congratulations to the winners on Sunday night. I was very lucky to be in Taksim Square Sunday night during the winning of the game. So this is my photo. I took the photo here in Taksim Square during the celebration. So it was a great experience, and it was something I'll never forget here in Istanbul. So it was a great delight to be a part of such a cultural event. And I'm not sure who I'm voting for next time, and so I still have to decide who my favorite team is. So I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of different opinions and different, guidance in the next 24 hours, I'm sure. So it was just a very great experience. So as we move into the next slide, this is the agenda. Okay. So what I'm going to do is a quick overview of our D&B global data strategy. And then also I'm going to get into how do we leverage predictive indicators, predictive analytics to better help businesses around the world to make better risk decisions and better risk management. And then I'm going to go into our D&B Global Trade Program, because we have a program that is truly global in 40-plus markets. And then the last topic of the agenda is to talk about the launching of the D&B Trade Program really today. So over the last few months we've had many discussions and meetings with customers, and with delight we're getting some very positive feedback from our customers and from our partners that this launch is extremely beneficial for the market as well as for our local customers and our global customers. Okay, so the next slide. The D&B aspiration is really to be the most trusted source of commercial insight, so our customers can decide with confidence. Okay, so I saw the passion behind football here in Turkey. So the analogy for D&B, we're passionate about information. Okay, so information that is used for risk management decision, sales and marketing decision, supply management decisions. So there's a variety of reasons to use the data in different facets of your business. Okay, so as Salim mentioned, we have about 196 million businesses in our database. Okay, and we've been around for many years. D&B is one of the most old, the oldest companies in the world. So it's at least in the U.S. Maybe not the world, but in the U.S. So we've been around for a long time. So the next slide. So our data strategy really is to provide deep insight and deep information on companies, not only in the U.S., not only in Turkey, but really globally. So the strategy is to keep extending information on businesses all around the world. So if you have the coverage, so getting the companies in our database is very important. So getting every company, small, medium, large, in the database is very important. But what we have to start doing is adding the depth of data. So a company name, an address, a phone number, that's good information. But you really need further depth of information to see how they pay their bills, how they market themselves. So really more insight so you can decide if you should do business with a company or not do business with a company. So that's kind of the crux of our insight is helping you manage your day-to-day business through our intelligence. So with having the coverage, the critical data elements equals the very robust proprietary database that we have at D&B. So just to give you an example of how we're collecting this data, globally, we have different sources of data. We have registries, we do web mining, we have news, public record. So all this data, millions and millions of records that come into our database every day, are coming from these sources. Okay, so the process is extraordinary. We also get information from customers. So customers generate data, provide us data, and then we incorporate it into our business processes. So again, just having the sheer number of sources to help us generate this information really gives us a exclusive, very proprietary database at D&B. So what I want to do quickly is go through the process of how, when we capture data, what process, what framework does it go through to reach, an insightful end product. Okay, so like I just mentioned, we have global data collection, sources from all over the world. Every market is providing data. We capture that in a global database through this global data collection. The second area is once we have these companies in our database, we have to match them. So if we're getting feeds from a source in, for example, in Turkey, we have to match them to the right company. right? So that is a critical part of the Duns right process here called entity matching. So ABC company in Istanbul goes through the database. It has to match somewhere so we have a viable company. And the third area is called the DUNS number. So what we do when we match the company, if it does not have a DUNS number, which is a unique identifier, identifying a company that will stay with that company for the life of the company, even after it may go bankrupt or get purchased or acquired, that DUNS number, that unique identifier, stays with that company. So we give every company in our database a DUNS number. Okay, that makes sense? So after we DUNS number the record, one of the we call it crown jewels of our DUNS right process is link the data. So a company may be part of a family tree, correct? So it would have a parent, it could have a brother, a sister, a subsidiary. So what we do is match these companies and then link them. So for example, if we have Vodafone, Turkey, they're part of the Vodafone corporate headquarters, I think based in, I believe in the UK. So we would see that linkage. Vodafone Turkey may own a subsidiary or another company in Turkey with a different name. It could be ABC Turkey Telecom, okay? So by looking at that company, you would not know that it's linked unless we show you the family tree. So you would see Vodafone, Vodafone Turkey, and ABC Telecom Company. So you can see that they're all interlinked and related, okay? So this relationship shows you a full picture of what that organization looks like. So if you're doing business with ABC Company Telecom in Istanbul, you'll know that they're related to maybe another company that you didn't know, and you can leverage that to grow and extend your products throughout that organization. So it gives you an opportunity to upsell throughout the organization. And also, the flip side of it is, realizing your total exposure. So if you have your Vodafone is one of your biggest clients, and you understand that they're even bigger now because of the linkage, that gives you some ideas of how to relate to that total exposure and the total risk that you have with that company. So if 75% of your revenues come from this company and its subsidiaries and its brothers and sisters, you have to be careful, because if they ever go bankrupt, your whole business will fail, right? So it's really looking at the total opportunity and total risk that you have within this corporate linkage structure. And if we go back here, and then the fifth driver we call of part of the Duns right framework is predictive indicators. So taking the data, matching it, linking it, Duns number, linking it, the insight that comes from that is called predictive indicators. So we're in the business of providing credit predictive analysis and predictive indicators to help our companies and our customers do more intelligent auto and credit decisioning. So that is the fifth driver, and this is the area that I'm going to focus more on in my presentation. Okay? Am I talking too fast, or can everybody understand? You good? Okay, good. Thank you. I have to work on my Turkish next time. I'll start learning some Turkish. So this gives you an idea, as D&B, the global strategy. What we want to do is, again, in global data collection, is increase the number of companies that we have in the database, right? Again, the second one is we want to have 100% match. Any business that comes into our database, we want to match it automatically. And also the linkage, increase linkage. So there's other linkage opportunities out there where there's minority linkage. So companies that have minority interest in a company, right now in many markets we don't know that. We don't know the minority interest. So we want to expand the linkage strategy. And then in the other areas is, grow, one of the strategies to grow the D&B database to 250 million companies. So, $250 million companies is a lot. So, and that growth is going to come from key markets like Turkey, from China, from India, from Russia. So these are the markets that we're very focused on to expand the coverage, and then also the predictive indicator area. So increase trade payments, increase scores available to the local markets. So this is just a quick slide just to show you the growth. Over the last few years, we've grown, the database about 50% to over 160 million. So you can imagine later this year when we hit 200 million, we're going to have a party, right? So that's probably going to happen towards the end of the year when we hit that 200 million mark. So that's going to be a very big milestone for us. When I joined in about 6 years ago, D&B, I believe we just reached 150 million. So now we're at almost 200 million. Okay, so next slide. Again, this is just showing the rapid growth in the trade in the database coverage. Next slide. And the next slide. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is focus on the fifth driver, which is the predictive indicators. So what we're trying to do here is really create transparency in the marketplace. So in Turkey, in Russia, in different parts of the world, is there's limited information for our customers to make intelligent credit decisions or any risk management decisions. So the passion again is to increase that depth of data. So our next slide here is you can go to the next one. You can go to the next one. The reason to introduce predictive indicators in a market are the following. So companies want to predict, how companies are going to pay them in the future, right? So they want to predict slow-paying customers. So as we tell them through our insight that customers are going to pay you slow based on all the information that we have, they can change the strategies that they have, the credit strategies that they have on an ongoing basis. So they can continually change, the decisions that they make. So by doing that, predicting, the slow-paying customers, one of the things that you're going to do immediately is improve cash flow. So you're going to minimize the risk, and then you're going to have the improvement of cash flow. And then the ability to predict a bankruptcy or predict a failure. Again, you're going to be ahead of the curve where you're going to stop, extending credit. You're going to stop shipping product to minimize your risk. So there's a lot of things that are also good about creating a consistent risk management practice. Not only in Turkey, for example, but global companies want to create a consistent risk management process that is global, right? So the way you make a decision in India will also be the way you make a decision in Turkey or in Brazil. So many companies, many customers of ours want to do that, have a consistent framework. But other companies do not. They want to have a very localized decision process, which is fine. But we, with our data, we do allow for companies to make more consistent global risk management decisions. And then, again, I mentioned before, is make accurate decisions on new customers and prospects. So when you enter into a new relationship, you may not know if this company is viable. You may not know the history of the company. So what do you do in terms of extending credit or becoming a partner with this new business? So you need to know past experience. You need more data, more insight. So to craft your credit decisioning. So how much credit should I extend? Well, should it be 100 Turkish lira or 100,000 Turkish lira? Without that intelligence, you don't know. And then what are the terms? Is it cash on delivery? Is it 30-day net terms, 90 days? So leveraging the insight, you can make these decisions, and it's going to really improve your credit function. So if you look at what's behind predictive indicators and predictive scores. there's a lot of different information out there. So there's payment information, there's public record information, there's financial firmographic information. All these, are very key to these predictive indicators. So firmographic information shows you what industry they're in. So you may have some past experiences with companies that may pay late in a certain industry, maybe textiles. So that information is great, and that's imputed into the scores and also into the predictive indicators. So all these are extremely valuable in building, the predictive indicators. Next slide. So if you look at, all right, out of these four areas, what are the most impactful to a score, right? So we have, firmographics, public records, financials, payment information, but the level of predictiveness to predict how a company will do in the future, payment information is at the top of the line. So for both small businesses and large businesses. So you have, payment information, key attribute for credit decisioning. Then you have financials. Financials, are very important, but they come out maybe every quarter or once a year. So, it's somewhat static versus payment information is updated. It could be updated every week, every month. So you have a constant view of how customers are paying other companies. Okay? So getting into that, right now in Turkey and many other markets, our customers see how their customers pay them. So it's a one-way street. So, ABC companies pay me, 30 days delayed, which is fine. But that's the only point of reference that you have. Okay? So, what we're trying to do is improve those points of references so you can see how companies pay other companies, right? So if you go to the next slide so here's your customer. They pay you, your logistics company, for example, they pay you on time, prompt. But they're paying a utility company 120 days slow. Okay, so that raises, a concern. They're paying financial institutions on time. But again, you look at, the companies that they're paying slow or the suppliers that they're paying slow, then you can start saying, oh, well, I may have to change the way I do business with this company because I can see more. So it's almost like a 360 view of the customer where you can see that, well, they're not just paying me well, they're paying others well, but also they have other suppliers that are having trouble with paying their debts. So the next slide. So seeing how they pay others really can help you anticipate how they're going to pay you in the future. So it really gives you, again, another point of reference and gives you more confidence when you make a decision with an existing customer and also with a new customer. Okay? Next slide. So I'm just going to give you a quick example of that. So imagine when you're looking at a customer report through D&B Turkey. Eventually you're going to see this type of intelligence, right? So, the customer in this example is a plastics manufacturer. Okay, so this is the company that we're looking at to make a decision on. So here you see at the first line is that company, company XYZ is paying logistics, prompt slow. Okay, so $55,000 outstanding, which, okay, no red flags, it's okay. The second here, you see they're paying another logistics company, prompt, okay, and same value, $45,000, for example. But then you look at the third line, where you see here slow, which is a chemical company. So here the intelligence is that this company, a plastics manufacturer, is paying one of their key suppliers slow. Okay? So does that make sense? So the supplier to manufacture the plastics is getting paid slow. So that's a red flag. And look at the amount, $221,000. So, by seeing that, you can make some adjustments to your credit function. And then you have other companies, utilities, telcos, hardware, they're paying slow. But the purpose of the example is, all right, in your credit decisioning, what's going to cause alarm? Them paying a telco company delayed, maybe 90 days, maybe not. But, paying a critical supplier of theirs, slow at that amount raises red flags. So this is the key, is just viewing the entire business and seeing how they pay others. Next slide, please. And so as you roll up all the information that trade data provides, you can do some very interesting analytics and portfolio views. So in this case, hypothetical case here, you see companies that are in a high risk bracket. So this, the red area is your portfolio customers that are paying you very delayed. Okay? So in that case, that these are the key customers that you have to start changing your strategy and enhance, your collection routines. So like it says here, formulate some collection strategies. And then if you go to the yellow pie here, these are customers that are beginning to look, they're paying poor, right? So over time, they've exhibited poor payment behaviors, but not into the red. So maybe they're paying 30, 60 days late. But again, these are customers that you have to keep an eye on. So your salespeople, your accounting people have to focus here, because we don't want them, or they don't want them, to be in the red category. So again, the next sale, you may want to tighten the terms. You may want to reduce the total risk in terms of a sale. And then you have your good customers. Everybody loves good customers. They pay well. They pay you well. They pay everybody well. So the opportunity here is to extend them more credit, because they're healthy. You want to extend them more credit. You can grow revenue. And so there's upsell, cross-sell opportunities. So, again, the intelligence here is not only looking at your poor customers, but also your good customers, your healthy customers that you can expand your relationship with. Okay? Next slide. So at D&B, in the U.S., we started the trade program about 45 years ago. So, over the years, we've developed some charts and some analytics, and we found that, the probability of a business failure, so a company paying, slow 120 days. So the companies that are paying in that bracket, they exhibit characteristics of failure. As the sole payments happen. So the probability of business failure increases sharply with sole payments. So if you look at this, companies that are paying 120 days slow, over 50% of them will fail, right? So in a credit manager or a CFO's eyes, when they see companies in that area paying 120 days slow, you're going to want to be very careful with that company, because they will go bankrupt or have very delinquent characteristics. Okay? Does that make sense? So over many years, just showing the payment behavior is going to also predict failure or delinquency in customers. So as we look at trade data, it's such a key part of our company. Again, globally, and what we do is embed the information into our products and solutions. So this is just one example of how we embed our data into a U.S. product called DMBI. So credit managers use this data, this platform, every day to make credit decisions. And one of the key things that they look at is how companies are paying over time. And what we do is, we have graphs and indicators on an aggregate basis how they're paying their bills. So here you can see here Starbucks Corporation, which I had Starbucks this morning over here at the office, and this company in the U.S. Has 4 or 5 days. Days beyond term. So it's not a big deal. So you look at this company, and it could be any company, Starbucks, any company in the world. But when you see, they're 4 days beyond terms, no problem. But when you actually see companies that are, 45, 60, 90 days beyond terms, again, the alert sounds off. And the next slide. And this slide gives you an indication of how they pay over time. So the trending analysis is very important. So, if it's a straight line, they're paying well over the last 2 years. Again, you're comfortable with that relationship. But when it's spiking, going up and down, they're reaching different instability points, then you have to understand that we have to make some decisions here. Next slide. And I was talking, about scores. We also have a Paydex, which is a payment index, and many customers create some auto decisioning tools that if a customer falls in a certain range for Paydex, it's an auto decision. So if the customer comes in at 70 to 80, for example, that there's no manual intervention, no one has to approve it, it's automatically approved. And then, that becomes a more efficient credit function and saves time, saves money, and other resources can be sent to other priorities. So again, here, a company exhibiting a Paydex of 74 is very good, right? So there could be an auto decision made there. Next slide. Again, this is just a quick slide. This is a third party. This is a credit expert based in the U.S., and he created a white paper, and here's some information taken from the white paper. So really showing that how payment data is so pivotal for predictive scoring. So here are some of the reasons. It's timely, it's objective, right? It's an early indicator, it's predictive, and then it has a broad. It can be applied broadly to many different markets, many different industries, many different companies. So this is really confirming the importance of payment data in scores. Again, timely is key. Financial statements may not be timely. Again, quarterly, biannually, or annually. Here, we're getting confirmation how companies pay on a regular basis. Okay. Next slide. So what I want to do is just give you an overview of the global trade program and what we're doing, around the world, and why we're coming into the Turkish market would be the next. So as you can see here, we have trade programs all over the world in about 40 plus markets, and we have about actually it's probably close to almost to 14,000 companies that provide data to us on a monthly basis. So these are companies, and I'll get into the next slide, what type of companies are providing their payment data. So here it is. So companies, IT, telecom, pharmaceuticals, distributors, energy, agriculture, all these companies all around the world are providing data to us, on a monthly basis. So, the good things about a telecom company, they're providing a large breadth of data, coverage of data, all different types of companies, small, medium, large. In companies, for example, in pharmaceuticals, maybe they're providing us information on on companies that are larger, distributors. So, each trade reference is different, but all trade is good. So we look for, accepting trade from all different types of industries, from all different types of regions. Okay, so you get here an idea of what industries our trade partners are coming from. So, and just to give you an idea that the demand is local, the demand is global, so our global customers are saying we need more information in these certain markets. So the developing, the emerging, the critical markets that they're growing revenue in. So with that feedback we're getting from our customers at a global and local basis, over the last several years, we've launched trade programs in Brazil, India, Japan, Russia. These are some of the key markets that we've done some launches, and then upcoming, what we're working on are markets like Argentina, Greece, South Korea, Turkey, of course. This is why we're here today, and Vietnam. So again, our customers, both local and global customers, are telling us that the information that you have in these markets right now is not enough. We need more. The next slide. So this will just give you a complete overview of what the trade program looks like. So as I mentioned, we have customers, we have partners that give us data, that send us data on a monthly basis, and and the AR data is then processed, sent to the DMB database, and then out comes these predictive indicators, scores, and also analytics. So it's a very simple slide, but shows you that company A, B, and C, company XYZ is receiving data from their customers. They send it to us, and then we process it. So just a very high-level view of what the process looks like. Next slide. And then within the files that we receive from our trade partners, these are the key fields that we request. So the account number, the name of the company, the address, phone number, those are the critical ones, and also the transactional, behavioral payment experiences. So account number, invoice number, the terms. So basically, the payment experience is what we're looking for. So if you really look at our global trade program, there's several different things that we're trying to help our customers do. So as I mentioned, we want customers to improve their cash flow, control their credit risk, and identify growth opportunities. So this is kind of the main area that we want to do to help our customers make better decisions. Again, of course, enhanced credit decisions. One of the key things, as I mentioned before, is the ability to see overall picture of payment behavior, not only your payment behavior but everybody else's. And one of the good things here, and this is one of my favorite bullet points here, is when you provide data to D&B, especially on your customers that pay you well, so they pay you on time every month, you're benefiting that company, and I'll tell you why. As good positive payment experiences come into D&B on a company, that company has a healthier credit profile. Okay, so if that company has a healthy profile, it can go to a bank or a lending institution to get a loan or a line of credit. And with a good credit score, the company, the bank, or the financial institution will give better terms and maybe a larger amount of a loan. So that company is going to grow. Okay, so it's going to expand its businesses, and in turn, it's a circle. They're going to spend more money with you, so they'll buy more products and services. So so you're actually doing your customers a favor by providing their payment behavior to D&B. So on the flip side, if you have a poor paying customers, and I'm sure everybody has poor paying customers, you can alert them that you are providing that bad payment experience to D&B, and that the credit profile will deteriorate. So it will impact negatively on that credit profile. So that customer does not want that to happen. So they'll change their behavior and pay you on time, and then your DSO will increase, your cash flow will increase, because he's not paying you 120 days now. He or she is paying you 30 days or prompt. So think about the impact that you make on the credit community, the impact that you make on your customers is extremely valuable. And then the last point is, as customers provide us data, your company remains confidential. You have the ability to go out and tell your customers that you provide data to D&B or to a third party, but we keep it confidential. And the data that flows to D&B is secure. So that the data will never leak. It will not get into any competitive hands or any other hands. So we keep that extremely secure. And that's if that does not happen, then we lose trust, and that is a bad image on our brand. So again, we've been doing this 45 years, and we have not had this problem. So we guarantee confidentiality and security of the data. And here are just a couple quick testimonials about how U.S. companies view their participation in the trade program. So you can read that quickly. The improvement of DSO. So this company here, a major utility company, used a very simple message on their invoices So we supply data to trade data to D&B. And what that did is got companies, a little nervous that it's going to impact, again, like I mentioned, their credit profile. So they started to pay quicker. So, so their reduction in DSO had an impact on, of course, cash flow. And think about a DSO improvement of 1, 2, 3, 4 days. In many organizations, that could be millions and millions of dollars. So think about, just these little strategies can really make a big difference in a company's DSO and cash flow. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to go into a little bit of, I'm sure many of you know about D&B Turkey, but I just want to go through a couple points here. As you can see, their aspiration is in line with the D&B global aspiration. So D&B Turkey to be the largest and most reliable source of credit information, analytics, and related value-added services in Turkey. Okay, so that's great. This is in line with D&B strategy. It's in line with the global trade program strategy. So this is what we want to provide for this market. So advanced analytics, advanced risk management decisioning, as well as the expansive coverage of companies here in Turkey. So the next slide, as you can see, as the global growth, a lot of it's fueled here locally. So the Turkish market is fueling the increase in coverage not only for here in Turkey but also globally. So you can see that they're now reaching almost the 1 million DUNS numbers, 1 million companies in Turkey. So I'm sure when they hit 1 million, Dina and Salim will have probably another celebration similar to this in the very near future. So again, congratulations. This is a very big milestone for D&B Turkey. The next slide. This is a very hard slide to, I'm sorry about this, very hard to see this, but I just want to show you right now in D&B Turkey we have very valuable information, right? So we have information on public records, the history of the company, the directors, sometimes some financial information on public companies. So, but what's missing here is the trade payments, some of the scores, the delinquency scores, the failure scores, the payment scores. So, imagine if you go to the next slide, what is going to happen in the next, 6, 12, 18 months is your reports are going to look like this with very powerful insight on companies in Turkey. So, you have a failure score, you have the PAYDEX score, which I explained to you, the payment behavior. So when you look at a existing report now and you look at in the near future, there's going to be a big difference, and it's going to be a very powerful difference, and it's going to allow you to make better credit decisions. So this is the future of what we're doing here in Turkey, and the trade program is going to fuel this insight for you in the very short future. So the next slide. So I just want to, I know it's probably getting late, everyone's getting hungry, and we have one more presenter. So I just want to explain, in summary, the D&B Worldwide Network is very committed to providing our customers, both local and global, the best data available, okay? We continue to invest in creating this additional insight. We continue to launch, like I mentioned, new programs. So, think about your business. You may do business in other parts of the world, right? So you may do business in Russia, for example. Last November, we launched the trade program in Russia. So now, so if you do business in Russia, you will see additional insight on Russian companies. So a new partner, a new customer, you can now gain more insight. So it's the launch of these programs is connecting the dots and creating additional intelligence, both local and cross-border. And the fourth bullet point, we're very excited launching this product. We've had some great feedback from customers. We believe this is the new thing to for our market to consider and to grow. As we launch the product, our relationship, our confidence will grow between our company, your company, and lastly, it's your support. You are the companies that are cutting edge, that understand the principles of credit management, and I'm sure you will see the benefits of having this additional insight in this market to really help you in your credit decisioning. So we hope that you support our program and grow with us and help the entire credit community as we move forward. So I will close there. I really thank you for your time and coming out here. It's been a pleasure. And again, Istanbul is a fantastic city, and I hope to come back here more often. So thank you very much. Thank you. Use this.
Thank you very much, Andres, for this wonderful presentation. And after this presentation, I'm sure we'll have lots of participants in Turkey. Şimdi değerli hocamız Doktor Saran Özel'i ben davet etmek istiyorum.